Welcome to episode 5 of Sam's G-Packing. I have returned to Saddle Mountain BLM land south of Tonopah, Arizona. And I got something special for dinner tonight. No more backpacking freeze-dried dinners for me tonight. So let's get to it.
There was quite a bit of rain this winter at Saddle Mountain and other desert areas of south central Arizona. It greened up. I almost drove right past this spot.
But now what I gotta do is some chores, and that's like firewood preparation. Because I mentioned earlier, I'm not gonna have any of those freeze-dried backpacking food for dinner tonight. So I did buy 2 store-bought bags of wood, but I do have to gather like kindling and tinder, which will go along with my clothes lint from the clothes dryer fire kit bundle. So I'm going to get on that right now. Well, first things first, had to inspect the campfire ring, and it's like missing a block over there, so I'm going to like reset that right now. Okay, you see a hole is like right here, and the rock is actually right here. So I'm going to like put that back where it belongs here. Hopefully you'll be able to see it in the picture here. There it is right now. Got the fire ring all set back up now. And there's a bush. It's dried up. I can use that for the little teeny tiny pieces to start a fire with. So let me get to that right now. See right there? And some more for good measure. These are dead. Okay, I'm just going to crumple it up here. Really good. Get it back in the view for you. Here. Got these good leather gloves on I can do that with, because there's lots of little stickers, and even to the leather gloves I'm feeling them a little bit. Crunching up real good here. So I've put them into the fire ring there to the side, so it'll be ready for me when I get ready to put the fire bundle together later. Well, I came back over to the source of wood here, and there really isn't much of anything else, which isn't like the teeny tiny stuff. I think I have some right here, like finger width, which is dead. So I'll go ahead and get some of this now. This is dead. Hear it crunch off. And a little bit more for good measure here. There, try to get out in the open so you can see it here. There, see? Yeah, I put it on top of my store-bought wood for the time being. I'm going to have to break that up into smaller pieces. Well, the first thing I'm going to do with processing this wood is to process all these little sticks, which will go on top of my clothes lint from the clothes dryer from home. And then the little teeny tiny pieces of kindling tinder that I scrunched up and I already put on the side inside of the fire ring. So let me go ahead and just get some of this processed up now. We should have this done lickety split. Keeping as a surprise, what's for dinner tonight. And that's because I asked on one of my earlier Sam's G-Packing videos for suggestions about what else I could make for dinner. And it wasn't really as instead of freeze-dried backpacking food, which is fine, but just to the point, what's the fun in doing that? Other bushcrafters and backpackers on YouTube, they actually cook like real food, either in a pot or they'll grill it over the coals from a campfire. So later on, I'm going to grill a steak over a campfire that's died down to a nice fine set of coals. All right, so I think I've got 2/3 of what I need. Now I gotta process this stuff up. See, these big blocks of wood, they're not going to, excuse the pun, they're not going to cut it in this environment. I need to chop them down size. I didn't bring an axe or a hatchet with me. So what I need to do is, somewhere in these two bags, I got to find a batoning stick. This might do as a batoning stick, so I'll give that a try right now. There we go. First set. I'm gonna like do this one again. Stick isn't exactly the one I need. It's a little bit too wide. Two more. All right. You got to be able to do that. Well, I've completed the processing of my wood, and you see over there it became this pile right over here. Some of these bigger pieces over here, I just couldn't get them cut up. So I hope this pile will be good enough for the initial campfire to cook with, and then this for my campfire TV, or sitting by the campfire at night. I hope that takes light. Hey, that's all I got, so it's gonna have to light up somehow. I've never had a failure with a campfire when I've been backpacking or G-packing yet, so good luck to me.
I've never seen it this green in the desert at Saddle Mountain BLM land south of Tonopah, Arizona. There's a Jeep trail I took, and I drove right past the little Jeep path because the greenery was covering it up.
Well, it's time for me to start the fire for grilling a steak on. So let's do that now. Okay, I had one issue here, and that was the striker rod had broken off the magnesium rod. Well, I don't hardly ever use the magnesium rod, which is for shaving magnesium filings if you have nothing else to start a fire with, and then you use the other side of it, which this was attached to. So I'm going to try to get this going. I already kind of like checked it out earlier to make sure it would strike, and it looks like it will. Well, I'm going to stop trying to do that. So I'm going to have to resort to a match, which I've never had to do before. So let me get my matches. I've got these matches. They're like years old. So I don't know if they'll work. So they better. I don't have much of a choice here. The wind has stopped for the moment, so. Oh, there it goes. It lit up. It's lighting up. Got a little fire going here. Hope it catches. I'm not trying to nurse it or anything, because I don't really have no other way to get this going. This is the only time when I'm backpacking or jeep-packing where I had a little bit of, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Looks like it's catching here. Oh, this looks really good. Hopefully this will not cause a problem. I need these bigger pieces to catch.
It's several minutes later, and I'm still recalling how I almost didn't have a fire tonight. That would have been the first time I couldn't get a fire going. I needed it tonight for my steak. It was steak or bust. I had no other food with me. Let's check up on the campfire, see if it's burned down to a nice fine set of coals.
Well, I've got the wood that's burned down to a small set of coals there, and then I bracketed it with two other thick pieces to retain the heat, and I put one of my tabletop grills on top of the two larger sticks of wood. So now I'm going to put the meat on there. So here we go, very carefully. I don't want to spill it. There we go. I got it on there without spilling it into something else. I forgot to bring some tongs with me, so I'm going to have to use the fork and knife I brought. Kind of like turn this over when the time comes. But first, we got to like put some seasonings on this thing. There we go. There's some for that side. Kind of like smooth out that seasoning on this steak here. There. And yes, I did use a home fork. So we're gonna like let that grill for a while, and then get back to you in a few minutes. Kind of windy out here, and I can balance this on me properly. Absolutely scrumptious. It is very, very good. Unfortunately, I have to go ahead and eat this without you looking at me. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my steak and get back to you later. Well, I'm coming toward the end of a fine day here jeep packing at Saddle Mountain BLM land south of Tonopah, Arizona. I also had a fine dinner. Sorry I couldn't share it with you, but perhaps someday there can be a meetup of all the great bushcrafters. Well, they wouldn't invite me, so forget that idea. But nonetheless, it was a great steak, and it cooked really fast on that fire, that was for sure. I also started a tradition several episodes ago on Sam's Jeep Packing, and that is presenting a beer, perhaps an ordinary beer, perhaps an unordinary beer. And I started doing that after seeing Joe Robinette on his station on YouTube, and he drinks like various domestic and foreign beers. You know, I think he's up in Canada. So the very first time I did that, I drank a beer to Joe Robinette. I was going to bring a beer on this trip, but I decided no, I didn't want to have to be like getting up several times during the night getting rid of that beer that I drank at the campfire. So what I did instead was last night I reused a Gatorade container, and here it is. I mixed in gin and tonic in here and threw it in the freezer overnight and took it back out. It's not really that cold right now. It's not lukewarm, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to give this a try. Smells like a gin and tonic. Yeah, that's a great gin and tonic. So I'm going to like nurse that along with the fire here tonight. On Sam's Jeep Packing episode 4, I mentioned that I had decided to retire from my approximately 35-year-long IT career that I had. Most of it here in Arizona for a local county government. And one of the major reasons why I wanted to go ahead and retire earlier than I had originally planned was because I was anticipating the birth of my granddaughter in July. Well, she arrived early. She arrived in June, and in August of last year, I continued the babysitter 4 to 5 days a week ever since. And I'm having the time of my life. The other reason that I mentioned about why I wanted to retire earlier than I had originally planned was because I wanted to do more camping and jeep packing and backpacking and hiking and fishing and doing all that on this YouTube channel. Well, that part didn't quite work out. I've been so busy, and I've been busy. I'm great to have been busy. One of my other interests, though, has been taking up all of my time, and I never really planned on mentioning it on Sam's Camping videos because there isn't any logical connection between the two locations I'm involved in retirement. But the other one is I run and operate a music streaming station on live365.com. And it's called Progressive Rock AZ USA. Shameless plug, I know, but it's it's a plug nonetheless. And I've been spending most of my spare time, practically every day, operating that music streaming station, Progressive Rock AZ USA. And if you're a progressive rock fan, you can find it by going to www.live365.com and then searching for Progressive Rock AZ USA. And you'll be saying that has nothing to do with Sam's camping videos. Well, it doesn't, but I have a variety of different interests. And so I'm up to about 3 of them now. And that is Sam's camping videos, Progressive Rock AZ USA on live365.com, and babysitting my 7 to 8 month old grandchild. Take another drink of this gin and tonic I made at home last night. Yeah, I think that was a better choice than beer. This will be the last trip to Saddle Mountain for this season. It is a desert location, so starting in April, which is next month, it'll get a little bit too toasty to be coming back here again. So they'll have to wait until next winter. I'm going to just sit back and relax for a while, maybe even kind of like walk around while there's still some light, to explore a little bit before it gets too dark to do so. And then I'll be back with you later in the evening. Until then, see you later. It's the end of another great day of Sam's Jeep packing. The fire is dying down, and it's being reduced to just coals and embers. Had a great time today, but it's time to retire into the tent for the night and go to sleep. I'll see you again in the morning after I wake up inside the tent. Well, good morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning on Sunday, and I had I would call a very good sleep last night. Tossed and turned, tossed and turned. Sleeping on the ground like I've complained about before just doesn't work for me. The tent is fine. The tent is the best part of it. As you all know from last year, I bought a new tent, and it's big. I can sit up in it and change my clothes just fine. The sleeping bag is Teton Sports. I seem to have liked it better last year for some reason, because now it seems like I was all tight and constricted in it. And I need to be able to move around, sleep on my side. I'm not a back sleeper, so I have to sleep on my side, and that just causes pressure point pains in shoulders and hips, knees, and all that business. So I'm ready to go back and try the hammock again. I've tried the normal gathered end hammocks in the past. Well, only one actually, and that was a Hennessy hammock. And that didn't work out too well for me for whatever reason. So I've been researching over the past few months for another type of hammock, which is a bridge hammock, which promises a flat lay. So I'm going to give that a try later on this year on a travel camping trip for one night. I have one scheduled for July, which will be perfect for testing on another type of hammock. But that's for a future Sam's camping video. What I'm going to do now is get myself together here and get dressed and get out of this tent. The sun's starting to shine into the tent now, just now. So it's going to start getting a little bit warm and toasty in here after that happens. It did get down to about 53 degrees here as of like about half an hour ago. It was 66 in here when I went into the tent last night. Okay, let me get myself going here, and I'll talk to you later. It's the morning. I've been up for about an hour and a half maybe. I've been putting some stuff away, and I already had my first cup of coffee, so I'm on to my second one right now. And like I've said before, even though it's instant coffee, any coffee in the morning when you're out in the desert, first thing is great coffee. Unlike last night when I grilled a steak on the fire, I just brought my old standby backpacking food, and it's freeze-dried granola with milk and blueberries from Mountain House. I'll take my first bite now. It's always good. Speaking of breakfasts, I did kind of mix it up this time. And I brought some Pop-Tarts with me. I don't know if I'll eat them or not, but they might be something I might want to munch on right before I leave the site and go home. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my breakfast, drink my coffee, and I'll get back to you when I'm ready to vacate this campsite and go back home.
Well, it's time to pack up the Jeep. Had a great time at Saddle Mountain BLM land, south of Tonopah, Arizona. But now it's time to go home.
Episode 5 of Sam's Jeep Packing comes to an end. I had a great time here at Saddle Mountain BLM land. Take care, be safe, have fun. Goodbye.